What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxette. And we're returning to Have a Nice Day, 1999, and the next tune is Wish I Could Fly. Luca, please don't knock everything down. Here, come here. In any case, it feels like a phrase that comes from somewhere else. Now, obviously, it's the type of phrase that might be independently converged upon, so on the surface, I'm not going to assume this is a cover or that it's taken from some famous piece of culture, whether that's literature or perhaps a musical or indeed a cover of someone else's song. But again, Wish I Could Fly, and I suppose more generally it's the kind of concept that is as old as speculative thinking or imagination in general. Humans have seen birds and otherwise wish that they could fly through natural or mechanical means. Luca, see, no, that's okay. She's going to be very helpful during this video. In any case, yes, I do wonder whether this is a literal type of flying, looking up at the sky and feeling that you want to be free and able to go wherever you want, but even those concepts could be seen figuratively, and having the emotional freedom or the behavioral freedom to do what comes to you to be a bit more spontaneous in terms of where you're going and where you're headed. So I do wonder what we'll hear. Let's give it a shot and see if we can finish this before Luca knocks everything down. This is Roxette. The tune is Wish I Could Fly, and it's from their 1999 album Have a Nice Day, which is amusingly, and at first for me, confusingly referred to as Hand. Ooh. Oh yes.
In my head, make every whisper turn into a scream. I dreamed I could fly out in the blue over this town, following you over the trees, subways and cars. I tried to find out who you really are in the middle of the night. Cool, sweating in my bed. Got the windows open wide, thinking about all the things you said. I wish I could fly out in the blue over this town,
like this one a lot. So two things immediately came to me. One, given the way the album started, and even then I was thinking that maybe there'll be some more dance rhythms. Again, late 90s, early 2000s, there's a lot of that in popular music, and it seemed to confirm my thoughts with the first track. But this feels very different. This feels, I've talked in some different deep dives where when there's that kind of trip-hop rhythm, but also some natural instrument sounds that it reminds me of like an early 90s Madonna tune. Obviously, Marie's voice and Madonna's voice very differently, and in some cases, subject matter very different as well, although maybe not always. But this sounded like a tune that if you put in Madonna's voice, I wouldn't be surprised to hear it as one of her tracks, because again, it had that hip-hop meets a bit of R&B, but also some synth-pop feel as well. And yes, the vocals were fantastic, especially as we get toward the end, and it feels like it's embodying that flying through the sky with the way she just goes off into the stratosphere. But the lyrics, as I caught them, felt very interesting in terms of making use of those visual metaphors, but also being set in a very real-world, emotional type of state. Being up at night after having a dream, perhaps a lucid dream where you're flying and maybe thinking in those terms because you've just had that dreaming experience, but wondering or recalling in your head, running through what someone had said and wanting to know more about them. So it sounds like maybe it's at an early stage in the connection between these people where they've had some meeting, maybe they're dating, maybe they're in each other's lives but not dating yet, but she wants to know more, and she's wishing that she could fly above, hear this person's calls, watch them maybe through doors ajar. I'm not quite sure about the meaning of that sort of figurative phrase, but wanting to know all about them and wanting to follow them and get a better sense of who they are and what to expect and what maybe some of the things they said were. So there's an emotional yearning in the song to try to feel and understand and to know more, and perhaps for that to be part of a romantic love, of a deep and meaningful expression, but she's still not sure. And so having the idea of having cold sweats at night with the window open, feeling that there's more to be known and understood outside, but also the idea of sweating in your bed, feeling a bit nervous or unsure about something, waking up and not knowing what's going on. It feels like the dream and the waking states are being connected. And again, her voice, beautiful, especially when she is so big and expressive, and a couple moments where she had some real soul to the delivery. Loving the string. In particular, there were a couple different idioms. It seemed like there was a moment where it was a single violin sound, which I always wonder, is it a real violin? Is it a violin done through, synth or keyboards? But then later in the tune, it felt like it was a at least chamber kind of arrangement, multiple violins at the same time, multiple strings playing the same chord, which of course even that could work on different conceptual levels. So a really elegant tune. Love the mixture of the natural instruments with that sort of hip-hop, trip-hop styling and the percussion. And yeah, some guitar at certain points. Compared to a lot of their synth rock tunes, the guitar did not stand out here the way it does in some of their other ones, but still a feature. And that expansive bass, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like a really electronic bass, it wasn't a real deep and rumbling bass, but it just had this warm, expansive feel to it when I noticed the bass at the bottom of the track. So another cool one and very different from what I was expecting. And indeed, I read some different opinions about this album. Some people saying it's not really their cup of tea, or other albums were better. Some people saying that there's at least a couple tracks on here that they like. And ultimately, given what I heard in the first tune, I didn't quite know what to expect, but I thought, again, it might be more in that realm where, sure, there's still going to be guitar, but maybe four-to-the-floor type of rhythms, but instead we got something different here. Syncopated percussion, very rich sonics and compositions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the album and just trying to follow where it goes both sonically and thematically, although perhaps I have a better suspicion in terms of lyrical themes that they'll still be in the typical range that Roxette works, though I'm less certain about where the sonics might go. In any case, I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you next time. Peace. And thank you, Luca, for behaving for the rest of the video.